Hi, my name is Jess Heron. I am a nurse. I love to travel. I love yoga and staying active. I have my own health and wellness business. I am a sister, a daughter, and a friend. But most importantly, I suffer with depression and anxiety, and I'm tired of staying quiet.
25-year-old Heron opens up about her daily struggles with depression and how we can beat the stigma that surrounds mental health.
I think the only way that we're going to solve anything surrounding mental health is to just talk about it and creating that open and honest dialogue surrounding it. And I think what makes people so hesitant and uncomfortable is because it scares some people. And the thought of someone having mental illness is determined as weak. And that's not true. And I think that we should really just create an environment that's just honest and just get talking about your story so that other people can understand that this is a part of life.
Caitlin Davey, who is a psychologist in the Hamilton area, talks about the negative impact that a stigma has when it comes to mental health.
Definitely, I think the stigma really does prevent people from seeking help, which is really unfortunate because that help could actually reduce the mental health concern and therefore reduce the stigma they feel, right? So it's just this vicious cycle. But actually in my experience, I've come into contact with people who maybe didn't want to come walk through the doors, didn't want to come to see me, because where I was working for, and I've worked in lots of different mental health institutions really, or organizations, people didn't want to walk through the door because they know that that building is labeled the mental health building, and they didn't want people to see them walking into that particular building. And so that's really sad because this person is struggling, right? And they needed to come and they needed help. But they were so anxious to even walk through those doors. And so I think that is definitely a barrier for people getting help.
So my name is John Lee. I'm the director of the Good Shepherd Homes program here in Hamilton. So the Homes program is funded by the Ministry of Health to provide housing and supports to individuals who experience serious and persistent mental health issues. Recovery occurs in the community, and right now I would argue that a majority of folks get with serious and persistent mental illness. I would argue that they get discharged to shelter, or in some cases discharged to the street. That is not a place where a person can recover. And if we could just kind of make that a generic truth, I think it would be a start for us to really transform how we see mental health and transform mental health care.
Throughout my journey with depression and anxiety, I was so sad at some points and went through some very, very dark times that I didn't even think that I would make it to 10 years later. It was so hard for me to plan anything, let alone 10 years, and I didn't know what my life would look like in the future. And there were times when I didn't know if I wanted to stay on this earth any longer. So for me to plan a future was so difficult. But now I am starting to see what my life is like, even struggling through this, because I know that there are happy times. And I think when you have such dark times in your life and when you suffer with depression, you're able to really appreciate the good times. And that has helped me and opened up my mind to see a future where, yeah, maybe I'm still suffering with mental illness, but it doesn't always have to be suffering, and that I am going to be happy one day, even still having this illness in my life.
Having a mental illness does not define us. Our strength defines us. Our courage defines us. And our bravery defines us. We can survive this.